Okay, morning all, welcome to today's activity. So it's going to be part informative, part quiz, and it's coming to you live from my garage. Okay, so we're going to kind of bring several of the topics we've been talking about over the past few months together in this one video. I'm going to be asking you a series of questions and you'll have a chance to win a copy of the level 3 textbook. Okay, so let's just start with what we've got in view. Okay, so we can see directly in front of us we've got my consumer unit, or CCU, Consumers Control Unit. It's a Hagar, and this was installed in November 17. Okay, so when this was installed we were still on the 17th edition Third Amendment, and that will be important later on in the video. Okay, to the right we can see we've got a gas pipe. Okay, so we've got a metal consumer unit and a gas pipe. Your first question is, one of these items is an extraneous conductive part, the other is an exposed conductive part. So I want you to tell me which is which. Okay. While we're on the subject of pipe work, you can see down here we've got our main bonding conductor linked onto the gas pipe. Not very neatly, to add, just bear in mind I did not do the installation work in my home. So if we look there, you can see it's bonded relatively close to where the pipe enters the building. Your next question is, what is the maximum distance at which this connection can be made from where the pipe enters the building? And I'll give you a clue, you can find that information in your on-site guide. Right, now let's move up here. Okay, so we have got a label here indicating that we must test the RCD, and it's noted there, it says test quarterly by pressing the T or test button on the device. So if we open this up, you can see, hopefully, there, the button that says test on the RCD. We'll come back to the RCD in a minute. So as I said, this consumer unit was installed in 2017. Since the 18th edition, that recommendation for the period between tests has actually changed. So your next question is, what is the recommended period between tests of your RCD now according to the 18th edition? Okay, moving on. Now we've got another label with the date recommending the next inspection. So when this was initially installed, it would have been an electrical installation certificate that was issued, and it would have been initial verification. The next test would be known as a periodic inspection, and an electrical installation condition report would be issued. So you can see there the date of the last inspection, which happens to be the first inspection, the initial, was the 9th of the 11th 17. The recommended date of the next inspection is the 9th of the 11th 27. Okay, so that is a 10-year period between inspections. Okay, and that is a standard time period for a domestic installation. So your next question is, if this had been an industrial installation, what would that recommended date of next inspection have been? How many years after the initial? And just bear in mind, the key to this is the risk of mechanical damage. Yeah? Think about the level of risk involved and the difference between a domestic and an industrial installation. Which is going to have the higher risk of damage? And therefore, would you anticipate that the period between inspections would be shorter, or would it be longer, based on that information? Okay, moving into the consumer unit itself, if we lift the lid, okay, hopefully we can see here. So we've got our main switch on the right hand side, the red one. So if we turn that off, that is going to isolate the entire unit. Okay. Then we've got what's known as a split load board. So we've got 2 RCDs and we've got a number of circuit breakers. Okay. So the first RCD controls the 6 circuits to its left, and the second RCD controls the remaining 4 circuits. And hopefully, if we can see, and we've talked about this before, from the RCD, the circuit breakers are loaded from high to low. Okay, so we go from 32 amp to 16, and then our 6s. All B-type, because it is domestic dwelling with little to no switching surges. And then again, it's a similar loading on the second RCD. So what we've got there is we have got our circuit breakers, which are providing our overload and our short circuit and earth fault protection. And then we've got our RCD. Okay, so if our circuit breakers are providing our fault protection, how do we define the sort of protection that an RCD gives us? Okay, and I'll give you a clue. You can look in the on-site guide section 3 to help you answer this question. And also a follow-up question. We've talked about previously the inconvenience of having one RCD protecting multiple circuits. Because if we had a fault, for instance, on the cooker, earth leakage fault, then it would affect every circuit that is protected by that RCD. So your next question is, what is the name of the device that combines the properties of both an RCD and a circuit breaker into one unit, which can minimise the inconvenience in the event of an earth leakage fault? And for bonus points, you can give me the BSEN number for that device. Okay. Note there, we've got 2 spare ways with blanks fitted to stop people being able to get any fingers or tools inside the consumer unit. And it is labelled up, albeit not very neatly. Yeah. Just notice as well, we have got the first floor lighting and the ground floor lighting on separate RCDs. We have got the upstairs sockets and the downstairs sockets separated as well. So the ground floor lighting is paired with the upstairs sockets, and the first floor lighting is paired with the ground floor socket. And that is so if we lose power to one side of the consumer unit, you're not going to lose lighting and power on one floor. Okay, so that's it for now. So you've been given your questions, you've been given your task. Actually, let's do one more bonus question at the end. So, as I said earlier, this was installed in 2017. It's a new build estate. Phase 2 would actually began in 2018. So I've got a friend who lives in one of the other houses who has got the same brand consumer unit. The installation is almost identical, but he has one extra protective device inside his consumer unit. Okay, so even though same builder, same estate, because there was a change in regulations halfway through the project, he has got an additional protective device, and being the electrical nerd that I am, it's something that I'm actually jealous of. So what I want you to do is find out what device is standard for an 18th edition consumer unit that was more of a luxury or something for more specialist circumstances pre 18th edition. Okay, so what is that protective device that my neighbour has got installed in his consumer unit that I am envious of, that I haven't, because his was installed to 18th edition. Okay, so there are your questions. I'll leave you to it. If you email me your responses before the end of the day on Thursday, I will input your names into a random generator, everyone who gets the correct answers, and I will announce on Friday who is the winner of the level 3 textbook. Okay, good luck.